statistics that we mentioned, 6,236. We put them like what? These are the verses. The ayat, 78 or 80,000, whatever the number is. It's like the car. Bring them, all these words. Study them. These are not original words. How many would be the original word?
30,000?
30,000. What do you think?
I'm saying hundreds.
100?
No, a couple of hundred.
Couple of hundred.
No way.
50,000.
50. Asad, what do you think?
I would think original
Yeah.
words.
Without what we call repetition, if you want to say.
Now in the studio, we have the real person. What you were listening to was a class that he did yesterday. This is Abed Zweiri. Is that correct? Zweiri. Don't confuse it with a television studio. The word al means the, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the definite article in Arabic.
The definite article.
Yeah.
God, you talk so much proper grammar. I
It is-
don't know what you're talking about. So really, what you have set up completely and beautifully is a scheme where people learn Arabic. You're not teaching the Quran. You're teaching Arabic, isn't it?
Yes.
But there are associations. Like yesterday when you were teaching, you said 180 words are repeated in 50% of the Quran. So if you learned 180 words, you know half the words in the Quran, which is, I think, a magic thing you said. I was so impressed with that.
Now lots of approaches now in teaching languages that are used. One of them is the corpus linguistics.
Corpus
Corpus
linguistic.
linguistics.
Uh-huh.
It takes that you take a text, whatever text it is, and then you make complete analysis for it, and then you make separation for.
So it's like a linguistic analysis.
It is linguistic analysis, completely linguistic. And then you divide that text into main categories of the language, the part of speech that we call, whether they are nouns, adjective, adverbs, pronouns, and everything. And then you divide them, classify them, have statistics about them, everything. And then you get
So you totally analyze it to the last atom.
to the last atom.
And that helps you understand, and that helps you teach as well.
Exactly. It is one of the methods now is used in teaching all languages.
All languages.
All languages.
So do you think finally they've understood how to teach language? Because at one time it was just by doing. You go to Calcutta, you talk on the street, you make mistakes, you learn bad words, and then one day you learn a bit, and then you learn a very selected aspect, isn't it?
If you are talking about the formal context, that's different. If you are talking about natural people, they can acquire the language naturally.
Say you're from Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose I had a job in Jordan. Very quickly I would have to learn words for breathlessness, cough, sneeze. But that's not normal language. That's a doctor kind of basket of language vocabulary, isn't it?
It is. Now in all languages, we have like small categorization for courses. So I have, for example, here we have Arabic for business purposes, we have Arabic for politics.
So you focus more on the businessy words.
Exactly.
Like profit, loss.
Not only words, it's also the occasions, the conversation that can be held in that context. It's very specific.
Okay, so you're not just teaching words, but if you and I were two businessmen and you're from Arabia, which you are, from Jordan, and I'm from India, then it's not just the words. I don't need to just say, like, what's profit in Arabic?
No. It's,
Munafa?
What's that?
Or what's profit?
Prophet Nabi.
No, not prophet. Profit.
Profit.
Money making.
The
What's the Arabic word for making a profit?
Rabh.
Rabh. Whereas in Urdu it's munafa, which probably then comes from Farsi.
Yeah.
Because my language, Hindi, the Hindus call it Hindi and the Muslims call it Urdu. It's the same language called Hindustani. So it came out of Delhi, where the troops collect, the troops are from all over India. So just like English, it's a rag bag of all sorts of words from all sorts of languages.
The example you mentioned about the business, actually, we are not teaching only the language. For example, for business, we are teaching also culture. We make like culture awareness.
So when you say something, you don't, like for instance, a very small example, my father's gone, but my mother is looked after by Asian women, right? Now, whether they're from Pakistan or India, they call her Auntie Ji. So that's the part, auntie meaning aunt, and G is a sign of respect. She goes into hospital, which she has. My mother went to hospital last night, and everyone calls her Sushila with her first name. She's 87. Now, in our Eastern cultures, where there's Jordan, I mean, if I met your mother, I wouldn't dare call her by the first name. I couldn't imagine calling even your sister or younger person of the female of the opposite gender. I would add a G as a sign of respect. So perhaps in Arabic you have those cultural layers which English, having become so commercial and international and texted and SMS'd, has lost it completely. It's just tuck, 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 tuck. There's the beauty and the, isn't it?
It is definitely. I mean, you know, I mean, every language it has its own style in conversation, in conveying the message, how you convey it, what type of vocabulary that you use,
what are the feelings behind it,
and the feelings.
How much time do you have? Because English is a kind of language. It's typed in one layer. Urdu has and Hindi have a layer above and a layer. The vowels are in top and bottom. Arabic, I believe, has 5 layers.
Approximately, yeah.
Yes. So Arabic has 5. Urdu has, Hindi have 3, English has 1. Because on the ticker tape on the computer, it's easy to run it like that. Would you agree with that? It's become so common and commercialized, we lost the nuances, the softness of language, the delicacy of good wishes. You know, we just type LOL and laugh out loud comes on and so on.
No, this is a new language, actually, what you are saying.
It is.
It's an invented language.
It's an invented virtual language, which is international, but doesn't say very much, you know.
Yeah. So then, now they are talking about the new Englishy.
Englishy.
So it's a new English now you have. Now.
Well, in India we speak English. And he speaks Pinglish, being from Punjab, but he's a Geordie, so he speaks Geordie, you know. Why do we need language? Tell us generally about these things, then we'll talk about specifics. What is language?
Now you have lots of definitions. I mean, it's a puzzle that now no one, I believe, could come with a solution for it. What is language? People, they define it like it's a way of communication.
Okay.
It's okay, way of communication.
We are talking in English, a common English that we are talking of. Both of us are educated people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be difficult if you had purely Arabic on you, or a very poor quality English. By poor quality, I mean with very heavy accent. And if I also spoke like Delhi and I didn't talk to you like that, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
So, but English has become the lingua franca, to use a stupid phrase, because lingua franca means French language.
It's a linguistic, term, actually, lingua franca. It's the language that can be used, they can make code switching.
Okay. Isn't language something humans have much more of? Animals have language too. Whales, baboons, ants, they communicate differently though.
There's one feature of the language that does not exist but only in a human.
Okay.
Which is the capacity of, or the ability of what we call naming.
Go on. Yeah.
Yeah. To give titles, signs for objects. That's only a human feature.
Can possibly have that quality. Yeah.
But not for animals. Maybe the animals they have that type of communication. In the bees they have also.
So they communicate by spinning around and
they communicate.
Yes,
they communicate. But by the meaning of the language that we know for a human being, no, it doesn't exist in any way.
So the vocalization is what's special, or just making a sound with the mouth instead of or the baby saying mama mama mama. But cows bleat. I mean, calves bleat. Monkeys go and they have different kind of cries. I'm not talking about body language of the elephant.
No, it's not about the gestures. You are talking about vocalization.
Vocalization, yes.
Yeah, vocalization. I mean, it's also something specific for a human. I mean, to produce these different sounds in different languages. Where can you find something like this in animals? Although you might share maybe 1 or 2, 3 sounds with animals, that does not mean they have that.
No, but equally it doesn't mean that they don't communicate. After all, if
communication is something different. They communicate.
So language is an aspect of communication.
Yeah, because people, they can't.
But if I shoot you with a gun, that's also communication. But it's not language.
Bad communication.
But there's bad communication. But it is. Yeah. Commune means 2 units have something going on between them.
Sign. gestures.
Yes.
It's a communication.
So a road sign, a traffic light is communication, but it's not language.
It communicate for you, but it's not language.
So in that sense, I think texting is not language. There's no emotion in it. It's just factual. I mean, if you say, see you 6 p.m. at the stage, that's what text is okay for. But feelings completely go wrong, you know. I've had so many fights. I mean, I used to be on Twitter. I had so much hate mail from Pakistanis who thought I was an ultra-Hindu fellow. And when I sent them videos of Sanam and me playing the flute together at the Pakistani High Commissioners, they say, is that possible? Because, you know, you see a very small aspect of someone when you text, isn't it? Would you agree with me?
Exactly.
It's a very, very narrow beam, isn't it?
You just limit your idea, you limit what you are going to say.
Yes.
I mean, if you word and you just put them. But I mean, when you talk about language, whether calling by phone, for example, or meeting face to face.
The phone is far better than text.
Yeah.
And I think email is better than text.
Even the tone of the voice that comes part of the language, because it also conveys something about your meaning.
How are you, Abed? How are you, Abed?
Yeah.
Oh, how are you, Abed? They're different communication. The last one is I'm sick and tired of you, or I'm depressed. And the first one is wow.
The interpretation of the receiver will be totally different.
Yes.
With each one of them.
And doesn't the receiver also have already a preconceived notion of who this person is going to be? Now that I know you, I've physically met you, I've smiled at you, I've interviewed you slightly, I'm interviewing you, I'm less likely to get upset with you if you say something which is truthful but could be interpreted as, no, he means well. But if I don't know you and from Jordan you send me a text, it could be very negative or positive, isn't it? Misinterpreted.
That's part in linguistics that's called pragmatics.
Pragmatics.
Pragmatics is talking about the context of the sender and the context of the receiver.
Right.
And then your interpretation of what I say, that depends if we are sharing the same context or not.
If
we share the same context, if we share, yes, your interpretation will be, to some extent, theoretically, it should be exactly like what I intended to say.
So if you talk to your twin, who you've grown up with, gone to the same school, same parents, a twin or brother or friend from Jordan, and has it taken you time in Britain? You've been in Britain for how many years
About
now?
9 years.
9 years. It's taken you time and me time to understand the context. Because I still don't say sorry, almost not, because I think it's fake. Because most people say sorry as a habit. It's just a habit. It has no meaning. It has no feeling. So when I say sorry, I really am on my bended knees saying I'm sorry, I goofed up. I didn't intend to, but I have hurt you. I acknowledge that. I don't want any explanation. If you want an explanation, I'll give it and I'll never do it again. To me, that is sorry. Not, he is sorry the doctor's not here. Well, why are you sorry if the doctor's not here? You know, so in English...
It's part now what we call them filling terms.
What terms?
Filling.
Filling. It's like polyfiller.
You fill the communication message.
In the Muslim community, inshallah. Many people don't use it in the genuine sense of God is the ultimate decider.
Yeah.
And we know that without God, it wouldn't happen. But you say, inshallah, meaning, I say, will you come to the party? Inshallah. Well, you have to get ready. God doesn't have to get ready.
Someone sent me a message about this and said, look, I mean, Muslims, they used to say, inshallah, inshallah, inshallah. Do you really mean by that they don't want to do that thing?
Yes, and leave it. My very good friend Sayyed had a car accident. And I said, weren't you careful? Oh, it was God's will. I said, he wasn't driving, you know. You were driving. So, you know, or it's like swearing, like was a tennis player, the American tennis player. He says, Jesus. He's not thinking in a kind of a sacred way or anything. He's swearing.
So that the language has that bond with thinking.
Right.
Do you say and think of what you are saying or not? Or
is it just a cliche, just comes out?
You just say it like this part of your, daily life saying.
Like good morning. Not meaning it.
Without thinking about it. Without thinking about the impact of what
on the other person either.
Yeah, you don't mean anything of that. So if there's a thinking in what you are saying, the message will be totally different. It will be interpreted differently. But if you just say it without thinking.
So like out of habit, if something like when I say thank you, I mean it really from the core of my heart. You know, if you do something for me and I say thank you, I'm genuinely gracious and grateful. And I think people can make out, you know, oh, thank you. You know, when you give an English person a card, English person are extremely polite. extremely polite, but that doesn't mean they're extremely civilized. There's a difference. One is surface, and I mean, they can be. I'm not saying English people are not civilized, but often the surface covers the gaps in the character. It's just a word, isn't it?
It is. It is. I mean, but still, I mean, the connotation that people they take from words that depends on their own interpretation.
So,
that's the problem.
Okay, you're not English, and I'm not English born at least, and you say, "And how are you?" and I'll say, "And how are you?" What kind of communication is this? When you say, "How are you?" I think you're asking me how I am. I'll tell you my blood pressure is 120/80. I'm fine. I made a lot of money today, or I'm feeling sad. By the time I'm telling you I'm sad, you'll walk away. How are you? Just expects a how are you. So, if your next door neighbor who you don't know and you wish good morning, that's fine. That's slowly building up a relationship. You can't go to your next door neighbor and says, "And I have noticed tears in your eyes. Are you having a divorce?" You don't know them.
I mean, this is the problem. That some people they say, "How are you?" but they don't mean actually to know how are you.
Yes, they're not interested.
And they don't care whether you will say this or that. It's just part of what they are saying.
Well, you remind
about
me
consciousness.
You remind me of a social worker. She used to go to, in her pregnancy, she used to go to the consultant. He would say, "How are you?" and completely ignore what she said. So with lipstick on her bloated tummy, 8 months pregnant, she wrote, "My name is Susan. I hope you can talk to me personally today," just to shock him into it. People have to do these things sometimes because I think often people are walking in a hypnotic state. They're not really communicating. What I really enjoy is talking to you because I'm just focused on you. I'm not bothered about the Beacon building burning down. Not bothered. Obviously, if it burns, I'll see some smoke and we'll run. But otherwise, I'm totally focused on Abed, who he is, where he came from, what makes him tick, what's his life like, why is he doing this, is he happy, and so on.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that genuine communication. And I, obviously, being a doctor, I've learned how not to go as far as is comfortable, isn't it? But people over time haven't got time, Most of us are so busy that often people come and cry on on that seat because nobody else listens to them. And I'm talking about very rich, big people. I won't name names. The gentleman I asked, I said, "And then what happened to your first wife?" Within 8 days of being engaged, she died of a brain tumor. Can you imagine the shock of that, leaving a child behind? Now,
this is the price of the new technologies. This is the price
that you lose out on.
We lost what we call now. We are just in virtual communication. We don't have
surface.
Just we have.
So it's like a surface to surface missile. No depth.
I mean, even if I remember when I was a child. I mean, remembering when the TV enters our home and how that gradually affects,
changes our language and behavior.
Everything. I mean, the family that used to stay, for example, for hours together,
looking at each other,
talking
and not worshipping this box.
Exactly. And then after that, you have now lots of things. You have your iPad, your iPhone, your computer, and everyone just focusing on what he or she.
And the ears are plugged anyway.
And no one hears anyone. No one listens to anyone. And if they are talking by gestures. Okay. Yeah,
just like a quickie.
And I don't have time for that. So it damaged. I mean, so that, I mean, the communication.
So language is being damaged, would you say?
I would. It is affected.
It is being affected.
It is affected.
I mean, language is changing. So when hardware doesn't mean nails and hammer, it means a computer. And there was no word called software. It was invented. Software doesn't mean underpants and shirt. Yeah. Software means the computing language as opposite of hardware. But hardware meant a hardware shop doesn't mean a computer shop. So, but that is evolution, would you say?
It is evolution. I mean, and all the languages, they are developed, they are evolved time by time, age by age. That's applied to any language. But again, I mean, the communication by language is something only for a human, but it is lost gradually by lots of new inventions.
It's half an hour, believe it or not.
Yes.
In our wondrous communication, I'll put an advert.
Spice FM, to entertain, educate and enlighten. Text us on 800-39 or email us at studio@spicefm.co.uk.
You're listening to Dr. Anand with Abed, and let's give you a full name. Abed al-Mutalib al-Zweiri.
Yes. Exactly.
Abed al-Mutalib al-Zweiri. It's longer than Anand Vardhan even, you know. Mine used to be Anand Vardhan Sinha. Sinha is a caste title, so father chopped it off. And Anand Vardhan is 2 words stuck together. And very long name. What do you call Abed? A-B-E-D.
Yeah,
Abed,
just
Abed.
wanted to make it short.
Well, what do your friends call you back in Jordan?
No. I mean, in Arabic, people they give the name fully. I mean, no.
So-
just Abed, Abdul Muttalib.
Abdul Muttalib.
Just to make it.
Abdul Muttalib. Oh, so Abed is Abdul actually.
It is Abdul Muttalib. If you
Abdul.
want to make it, I mean, according to the inflection in Arabic.
Abdul
Muttalib.
Abdul Muttalib. Okay. So Abdul Muttalib, I heard you teaching yesterday. I filmed you. I was quite impressed how you broke it into very simple elements. How only 180 words make half of Quran, and 1800 words are used only once. You know how you break it down to.
To be honest, it's a matter of using the resources that's available. It's not me.
No.
myself,
But
because
I was
we are
very impressed
using-
with the
We have
technique.
lots of books now, lots of resources that we can depend on. But it's all about bringing them together and put your own experience of the language itself. And
So you put
engage
yourself forward, and this is how I learn.
How you put these things
How you
together.
pass it on. How you
Exactly.
communicate. Mind that,
Yes.
Mike. How you communicate, isn't it?
Exactly. How you communicate.
Because
and how can you convey?
Yes.
Yes.
So instead of a child just going to a madrasa from age 7 to 11 and memorizing it and not understanding a single word, I've seen a lot of that, you know. And I thought if they understood some of it, it's a manual for life. If you actually understood the parables and the meanings and the metaphors of the Quran, I mean. Because Arabic is not the Quran. It's the language of the Quran. Of course it is.
It is. I mean, there's lots of misunderstandings about linking these together. It's one aspect that you want to memorize, whether poetry in French, for example.
Yes.
Okay, but
Yes.
what about understanding that poetry that
Yes.
you? If you just memorize it, it's okay, good. You are training.
nothing wrong with it. Your mind is
you are
still-
training your memory. That's fine.
And the mind goes into hypnotic state. Like if I do a Hindu chant, Om Bhurбhuva Svah Tat Saviturvarenyam, because it is monotonous and I'm talking some nice words, it sounds good. But if I understood the meaning,
Exactly.
it would add so much more. Or Latin,
Much more. I mean, even in memorization, it will be easier for you.
if the meaning had a hook.
Exactly. When you memorize something that you understand, it's much easier than memorize something they don't
They
understand.
don't understand.
Yeah.
Yes. One is
It
just
takes-
what is a rote learning, and one may be rote but with some pleasure in it.
Exactly.
And you're enjoying it and sense of achievement. Okay, so how did you become so motivated about teaching? I mean, tell us a bit about your
my
Did you have very good teachers yourself as a kid?
I mean, I have a good experience with my teachers. Actually, I mean, you have always in your memory
What you went through,
one
yes.
or maybe two teachers in your life. They just affect you. And
So
they
what are
keep-
their qualities that
Yeah.
touched you deeply and still you hold them in high regard today?
I mean, the dedication, the
So
commitment.
Totally fanatically in love with the subject.
Exactly. I mean, that you love what you are doing and you do it
With
with
passion,
all your
all your
power.
spirit and all your power.
Exactly. I try to put all that in my class. Even I might be upset before the class.
But once you're in the class, you're on the
But
stage.
when I close that's my stage
That's
now.
all outside
My students have nothing to do with anything personal
that you're
for me.
carrying.
Exactly. So I just give it as I want, with
Wow.
fully committed.
Wow.
So it's to love what you are doing. That definitely that I want to pass people information. And I want to,
And that's
them
your
to
main
make
motive.
progress. I want them to feel that in these 2 hours, I'm learning, for example, general Arabic. I'm learning Arabic for business or whatever type of Arabic that you are learning. That after these 2 hours, I made progress. I have done something. I got information. I can use it.
And their success is your success.
That's my success.
Like any
actually,
good teacher, any good ustad. Do you use the word ustad?
Ustad, that people they
The
use.
Arabic word?
Ustad or muallim.
Muallim.
Or mudarris, all
Mudarris.
these. So my success is actually if my students are successful in getting the information that I passed. If they got it, it means that I am
So if you can light the fire of thirst for knowledge in them, for the subject you're giving, but I think it's more than that. It's not just Arabic. If you're a good teacher, you inspire them to learning. You
not all.
allow their brain to expand into any area they want to learn.
Look, any information you want to pass it to anyone, it's very easy to get that information. It's very easy. Books are there. And the material is
Factually.
there. Factually, you have it. You can just
So what
collect
does
it
a
and put
teacher
it.
do that a book can't do?
It is how can you convey that information?
So it's not what you say, it's how you say
How
it.
you say it. It's not what you are saying. Sometimes the teacher might have little, amount of information.
But says it so well.
But what they have, they really convey it in a very strong way. For me, this is better than a teacher who is encyclopedia.
But cannot
But has
communicate.
no communication skills, has no teacher
No passion
training,
for the subject.
not passion for the subject.
No differentiation. One student needs
Not
one
at
thing,
all.
another.
Not at all. And then that will be totally
In a way, a good coach is not necessarily the best footballer.
no, not at all.
And the best footballer will...
Cannot not necessarily to be the best coach.
No. Unless God gives you everything. So the good footballer is not necessarily a good coach. He knows. So when people say he's very knowledgeable, well, so is the internet. But how do you communicate?
Google is the most knowledgeable person.
As a Hindu, I call it Google Devta.
Yeah.
The latest god of Hindus is Google. But Google is just factual.
Factual.
But to reach Google, you have to have the thirst. There's so much on the internet, but people don't know where to look and what to look for. They don't even know there's another world. Like TED Talks, like even on YouTube. Anything on the camera I'm doing, I look up knowledge in YouTube. I just type Final Cut Pro X effects. And there's 10, 20, 30 free. And it's on and I'm reading something else, having a cup of tea. And my teacher is Mr. YouTube.
Knowledge is available.
And
now.
Mrs. Google. Between them, but you have to have that thirst. And just like you had good teachers, I had Catholic priests. They were not perfect people. About religion, they were very confused and tried to confuse us as well. But they were dedicated. They were madly in love with the subject they taught.
Exactly.
And they said it with such passion. I can feel it. I can feel it
in the
sitting
person.
here. I'm talking about 1960 or 56. And I'm feeling it today. Why? Because there's that vibrance in me of that teacher. So they can stimulate you.
Yeah. Inspiration. That's it.
Inspiration, touching you. Okay. And work-wise, you've taught a lot of Arabic, a lot of places. We'll get into that. But in school, what did you enjoy most in Jordan? Which town are you from in Jordan?
I'm from South, actually. South Jordan.
South Jordan.
Petra.
But were you not born about 70 miles from where Jesus of Nazareth was born?
Exactly.
You told me that, and I'll remember that for my life. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's so powerful to say those kind of things because it touches your students as well.
It's only
If
the
you're prepared,
mountains.
you're personal about it, isn't it?
It is.
And you're taking pride in the fact you're a Muslim, but just because you're a Muslim doesn't mean you have any disrespect for this great guy who was only 70 miles away. 1 hour by drive and you reach Jesus' birthplace.
I said to them, I'm proud that Jesus, we share the same skin color.
Yeah, well, Western people forget that. They think he had blue eyes and he looked like Charlton Heston.
You see, that's what the reality is there.
Yes.
So,
Okay. So, what subjects did you like as a kid? What do you best?
I was actually on the scientific stream in the school, and
Because they thought you're good with maths, biology, chemistry,
all these
physics.
things. But then at the university now, I changed into English language.
What made you make
and
that change?
literature.
Because I had a similar change myself. I used to make radios, transistor radios, photography, all the boyish things, all hand things, very, very good at.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that when I played with my classmates, I made a shocker. So one battery and they used to all jump with a shock. And then I realized the shock was more important than making the gadget. The gadget was the excuse.
Yeah.
So that's my turning point at the age of 13 or 12. I said, no, people are more interesting than gadgets. I can't be sitting in a lab with a rat and a white coat on and yuck, I want people. How did your change happen? When did you go into humans?
Sometimes, change happened to you without your effect at all. So
Without you trying.
No, not at all. It just, in the universities you have like grades, and if you are not accepted in that school, then you will be offered
The
other
changes are
schools,
made
then
for
you
you.
make the change, so it's made for you. But now you have to decide that I want this or not. Then you decide I will
Do
go
I
with
accept
that.
it wholeheartedly?
Yeah, and then I go with it.
Okay.
And then continue.
So what stage, how many years ago did you decide to, one, become a teacher, two, in Arabic?
I started teaching English, actually.
Okay, no,
I
that's a
started
language.
teaching, yeah.
Where,
I started
here?
in Jordan. In Jordan.
Which year were you talking about?
I'm talking about 1997.
Okay.
until about in 2005. So about 7-8 years in teaching different, school levels and
So when you started English, you also started learning English in a more profound way than your good English that you might have had?
I got my degree in the university in English language and literature. Then I started teaching.
So when did
English
you
in the
move
school.
away from science? How old were you then?
Yeah, it's a big shift from
It's a massive
science.
shift,
Yeah,
yes.
it must.
And is
then
there a lot of space for English tutors in Jordan?
It's needed everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If I stay there all these years, I might be now like Bill Gates maybe of teaching and these things. But it was very, very good experience, and that benefited me here when I moved and make the shift into teaching Arabic now in a different context. So
yes, you found a niche market where Arabic was needed. You're a good teacher in one language, and it's a shift to another language which you're so familiar with.
But that, something people, they mix also that because you are a native speaker of Arabic, you are teaching Arabic. No, that's not true.
No, they're very...
It is not like this. Being a native speaker of any language does not qualify you to be a teacher.
In fact, not being a native speaker may enthuse you into learning it
exactly
as an outsider and teaching it to an outsider.
You'll be better than any native speaker in teaching any language. So
generally you're feeling that if you're not a native speaker of a language, you'll perhaps learn harder, try harder, see it from the perspective of a learner
train yourself
than a
as
teacher.
a teacher. Yeah, take all the training courses, and then you'll be qualified for that. And put effort by yourself. And this is what happened actually with the Arabic language here. That I started teaching, and then I realized that yes, my linguistic background helps me to understand Arabic and English both together.
Right.
So, and then making some training courses about teaching, how to be a good teacher of.
So you were
Arabic.
a teaching fellow in Arabic at Durham.
Yeah.
You were also Arabic language mentor in Newcastle University. What does a mentor mean as different from a teacher?
Yeah, mentor, that you provide the student with some aspect after the teacher, after the class.
Okay.
That the student will come back to you. They might ask about certain aspects. They want to revise with you something. So you mentor their progress.
You're a class help, but not with
exactly
laying out toys,
like
but with language itself.
Sometimes you provide them extra cultural elements of the
I was
language.
going to say,
so, yes.
because you are a native speaker, so you add those dimensions which an English Arabic speaker will not
exactly
be able to. Okay. What's a program developer in London Arabian Oasis School of Arabic? What does that mean?
Yeah, I just
like a syllabus
there,
person?
yeah, exactly. To develop some modules, some courses like this, with different courses.
So you really have to think outside the box, isn't it?
Definitely.
In a different country, with a different mother tongue, and yet bring all the elements together.
You have to see where's your strong element, which strong aspect of your character, and you can
what you enjoy as well.
Enjoy it, and do
it comfortably.
Definitely.
Instead of trying, it just comes naturally to you. Okay. You were also an examiner for Cambridge Exam Board.
Yeah.
What is this for schools?
That's for IGCSE, international exams. Yeah. So
I was the last batch in my school to have senior Cambridge, and then exactly this started in 1964. 63 I passed out, so it's the same thing. And has translation also helped you?
Definitely.
Translation work.
I worked for about 3-4 years here at Newcastle in different companies as translator. And that
for what? Mainly refugees or for
no translation
police?
of text. No, translation of text.
Oh, I see.
Some of
Academic
them are business mainly, business sector. To translate websites, for example, translate some questionnaires like this.
For people abroad or people coming here?
Yeah, no. For the people here, they make communication with Arab word, so they need the text, for example, in English to be translated to Arabic.
Because the world is becoming a global village, isn't it?
It is.
Okay. Arabic is an ancient language. It's a very old language, like Sanskrit, like Latin. Does that not present its own difficulties? Because it's not a current language. It's the current Arabic and the ancient Arabic. Is there a big difference?
We have to admit, yes. I mean, the spoken Arabic has, not totally, but it has its own different, even sometimes grammar, structure, vocabularies. And they are different from one country to another country.
One country to another country.
To another country, and sometimes in the same country.
In the different regions.
Between north, east, west, people, they have their own special dialect. So that makes it difficult for the people who want to study Arabic.
So could there be two Arabs who don't understand each other?
Definitely. People, for example, from, let us say, Levantine, like Syria, Jordan, Palestine,
Yes,
all these.
that area.
If they hear, for example, someone from Morocco, two Moroccans, they are speaking to each other.
They won't catch on.
I might not, catch
I
maybe
see.
50%.
Particularly if they're speaking to each other effortlessly.
Exactly.
But if they're trying to speak to you, then you'll
If
understand.
they are trying to speak to me, then hear what we call the code switching.
The what switching?
Code switching.
Chord switching.
Code switching. That both sides, they try to,
reach a common point.
What's the common point is the standard Arabic.
Yes.
That's the standard, which is a simplified version of classical Arabic. That's used, for example, in Al Jazeera, in education.
It's exactly like Hindi, the Hindi that comes on Indian national television has a lot of English words in it.
Yeah.
They don't make very hard effort to find a suitable Hindi word, which nobody uses.
Exactly.
So the same thing, Al Jazeera Arabic is current Arabic.
Used, the current Arabic, used. They use
broadcast Arabic, you could say.
Yeah. So they use this as little bit, can be facilitated in a way, that language, the classical one.
Okay.
So this version now is using in media, education, something like this. People from different countries.
We're talking about old languages and new languages and how languages evolve. And you were also saying that if two of us are both Arabs but different countries, but if we know the other is different, we make an effort. We speak slower. One of the common things that English people need to understand, that if you're talking to someone whose English is not their first language, you don't have to speak loudly. You just speak slowly. And in fact, in the Speakers Club, we are taught that when you meet a new person, I particularly being Indian, we talk like that. So I start talking slowly till they pick up the nuance and the rhythm, and then it's like joining the motorway, isn't it?
It's accommodation.
Accommodation.
Yeah, you accommodate.
You got lovely words for everything I say. Yeah. Accommodation means you fit in.
Exactly. And this is something I experienced here at Newcastle when I came in 2005.
You didn't get any accommodation?
I feel that there is, if you want to take study now, research over these 9 years, I believe that the people here in Newcastle, different, maybe English and non-English, they have something in the middle now. They try to accommodate each other when they
and that's the beauty of this part of the world.
Exactly.
Because the Northeast is considered, Thailand is the friendliest part of this country. And we are one of the most diverse in people.
And this is one of the most important part of the communication skills. Now, when you communicate with people, you want your message to reach them.
Yes.
And you want also to get what they are saying.
Yes.
So if you are saying what you are saying according to your own way, and you do not make any adjustment, that will be...
Then obviously you don't want communication.
You don't want
So if you crack in jokes, if you're new to the place, I've been here from 1978, and you're newish, but I won't say something Geordie which you don't know unless I want you excluded.
Exactly.
So I'm with my English friends, you understand English perfectly. But if it's Gandun the Road, to some extent you understand Geordie, but I've heard it for 35, 36 years.
Definitely.
So in time, you entice people in. And people are not so aware. They think just by speaking in English loudly, it's enough. No, it's not enough. You speak simpler words. Like my mother, her English is perfectly good. She's spoken English from before I was born. But she's not talking Geordie conversant English. She's talking high-level people, just like in Arabic. So the university professor in Arabic might go to Morocco, to the shopkeeper, and not be understood.
No.
Because he's talking a very high, poetic, literary, allegorical kind of language.
It want to be up to their own level of understanding.
But I think that is true about all communication. One of the most famous communicators in India is a chap called Amin Sayani. The Hindi he speaks is total mixture, bit English, bit Marathi, bit Gujarati, largely Hindi and a few English words thrown in. He didn't get a job in All India Radio for Hindi, but he was the most popular presenter. Radio Ceylon is Sri Lanka, that is south and that's outside India. A big transmitting tower transmitted his programs to all over India and Pakistan. And he was one of the most popular presenters. Because he adjusted. He said if the two wheels of a car are different size, the car will go round and round. So the listener, I've got his interviews. I really adore the guy. He says, because a big linguist will say, why do you speak such poor Hindi? He said, sir, at least I'm understood. What is the meaning of communication? If you're not? And as a GP, I take that to heart very deeply because a lot of GPs are very, very clever and very knowledgeable, but they don't give anything away.
You know, I remember example. I mean, one of
Go on
my
then.
friends, he's an Egyptian doctor
Uh-huh.
in one of the hospitals here, psychiatrist.
Uh-huh.
And he just met a lady about maybe 80 or 70 something.
As a patient.
Yeah, as a patient. And just she was trying me to make jokes with him, sense of humor. But he didn't laugh. Yeah. And then
And she felt pushed
she
out.
said, "Oh man, we don't have any sense of humor."
No.
The idea is that you, as a sender of the message, you think that person, the receiver, has the same context.
Yes.
The same context that you are talking about.
Yes.
So,
Well, of course, Britain has ruled the world, so everyone must understand her sense of humor.
yeah, that's happened in all languages. I mean, you cannot use your own specific type of language that's really cultural based.
Yes. Jokes which are totally culture-based.
Culture-based.
And Geordie jokes. You crack Geordie jokes that Southerners won't understand it.
Yeah,
Never mind you and I.
I meet many people, and sometimes they say something. People around me, they are laughing. I don't laugh. Why? Why I don't laugh? Because I didn't get it. That's it. It is not in my context at all. So if I understand it, next time someone says it, it's okay. I will pick up and I'll laugh with them. So, so this is, I mean, the magic about the language. That
But the sender is not smart enough then.
Yeah.
And intelligent enough to talk at the level I understand.
it's not what you are saying and how fluent in what you are saying. It's about how you say it.
And to reach the level, differentiation is called in teaching, isn't it? You speak to different people, different
people,
language.
how can you modify
different
your level of language? When I talk to people, for example, I know that they don't understand, for example, standard Arabic. My usual way of speaking in Arabic, I use the standard Arabic. I don't use the dialect.
Okay.
I don't like.
But you're a
example,
teacher of.
I'm a teacher of Arabic, so I don't like, using the dialect. Even in my normal communication with my friends, the Arab friends, I don't use I try my best to be always with the standard. But people, they must feel, oh, you are just trying to be like...
You're trying to show off.
Or show off or something like this.
But that's their perception.
That's their perception. The problem is that sometimes they might not understand. Even they are Arabs. And then you have to accommodate. You have to make that change.
Also, culturally, if there are women there, you'll crack different jokes. That's true about every language in the world.
Every language.
If the older people, you crack different jokes. If there are children there, you crack different jokes. So, the context is not just the linguistic context, it's the culture that person. So you don't wish to hurt people or not to be understood.
You have the linguistic culture, you have the cultural, the linguistic context, the cultural
social
context, which is the social, you can say, and you have the mental context also.
Of the level of intellectuality.
Yeah.
So what's the point of bamboozling somebody with your complicated sentence? I mean, in English there's a statement, will you please allow me to insert my digital extremities into your odoriferous concavity, thence to extract the pulverized atoms which entering my nasal concavity will titillate my olfactory nerves, which means, can I have a pinch of snuff?
What is this?
I memerized it in school, but it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so you went to the complex.
Just for nothing, instead of saying, can I have a pinch of snuff, Will you please allow me to insert my digital extremities into your odoriferous concavity, thence to extract the pulverized atoms, which entering my nasal concavity will titillate my olfactory nerves. I'm sure you know every word. But you're saying, what the hell is he talking about? What's the Anabut,
There's always an easy way.
I'm sure you can talk Arabic of such a high level. I mean, there are presenters here who speak Urdu of such high standard that two people understand them, themselves and themselves. You know what I mean? But that's like saying, I know it all, I can say it. Well, so what? It's not, and I see it in medicine a lot. Doctors using big words instead of, is your stomach all right? Is the abdomen all right? The esophagus, just say gullet. I've got a cold, I've got a viral respiratory infection. Just say cold. I've had a heart attack, I've had a myocardial infarction. Man, it takes so long and you're distancing yourself from the patient, isn't it?
Exactly.
In all contexts, whether it's medical or police have another kind of language.
It's creating power, social power.
Social power, and it's making the other person feel small. And I think that's you're not succeeding then.
I think this is affecting even people in making any other communication with the same person.
Yeah, yes. Okay, I'll have a break and then we'll talk again.
It's Red Hot Radio. Spice FM 98.8 FM.
This is Dr. Anand with my friend Abed, to make it easy for me. You can call me Doc, not Anandavardhan Sinha. Dun, ta-da. So, Abed, we were talking about the purpose of communication is to communicate, isn't it? To reach out.
Cool.
Co means together.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're not reaching out, you're failing. People say he's so stupid, he didn't understand. I said, look, if you can't explain, you don't know. As far as I'm concerned, if Einstein couldn't explain E equals mc squared, I don't think he knows it. Because he's not able to communicate to me. And if you're a good teacher, you will reach my understanding and teach it in a way palatable to me and attractive to me. So that's what you were doing yesterday. You were questioning, answering. I mean, there's the Socratic method, isn't it, of teaching, saying, what do you think? What do you think? It forces people to think. And there's the didactic. I'm telling you, memorize.
So that I'm trying in such project, I mean, about the academy in general. Just we are trying to say to people that all languages now, they are using very new, up-to-date methods in teaching. And Arabic is a respectable language. So it must also follow the same route in teaching.
In teaching. The language is that, but how you deliver it.
How you deliver it, it must be delivered in a very new fashion, very new way.
For it to be understood.
So people, they can understand it. People, they like it and love it as a language. And then they make progress in it. You don't want to keep someone learning Arabic for 10 years and making zero progress. No.
Wow.
Now, we are able to make progress in a very short time with some commitment from the students, for sure. It's not just about
no. It's a two-way process.
So it's a two-way.
You're not teaching, they are learning.
Yeah, and the what you are saying, that we are trying not to make the teacher as a dictator in the class, and you are not just instructing the student, do this, don't do that.
You're not a factory floor.
And I am not the source of information at the same time.
But you're the source of inspiration, passion,
I'm trying
desire.
I always tell my students that I learn from teaching more than I teach to students. So, because I share now, for example, 10 or 11 students in the class, their minds. And they also share the other minds. So you get your knowledge by that. It's just you are sharing.
So it's a common cookery class, you can say.
Exactly.
But there was this maths teacher, it's a joke, a maths teacher in India. It was very tough. He used to hit all his students. And one day he said, look, it's my wedding anniversary. I won't hit anyone. Anybody didn't understand. So the littlest cute fellow said, sir, I didn't understand yesterday's sum. So the teacher did the sum. He looked at the student. Did you understand? No, sir. He did it 10 times. In the end, he got so frustrated. He threw the chalk on the floor. He said, stupid little brat. Even I understand it now. Okay, there's a call here. Hello, caller. Who's that, please?
Hello, good afternoon. Is this the People's Assembly?
Hey, good afternoon, Iftikhar Khan.
Hi, Doc.
Aate kyun nahi ho? I've got Abed here, an Arabic teacher.
I'm actually in the middle of cooking something for the children.
Okay, good looking. What are you cooking?
Attentively to the radio.
We've got a lovely chap called Abed here who works from the Beacon rooms 10 and 11. He's got a classroom there. He teaches Arabic and he relates it to Quran to make it easy for those who want to learn the Quran. But he's a fab teacher. Yesterday I learned that 180 words are repeated in the Quran so many times that half the Quran is populated with 180 words. So if I memorize 180 words or learned them and their meaning, I know half the Quran. What a wonderful thought.
Fantastic.
You are a modern guy. You've learned Arabic. You learned in an old style. I think you.
I mean, I obviously learned it in order to read the Quran.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm not proficient in the understanding of Arabic. But I found this discussion very refreshing, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy that we've got a gentleman here who's in the business of training people in language and translation, and is obviously has a wide-ranging experience. I think the most beneficial thing for me to hear was that that language Arabic needs to be taught in different modes and different contexts, whether it's for business use or whether it's for everyday general use or whatever.
Yes.
And sometimes that's missing from from the processes
from
of
these
teaching
classical
language.
language,
It's very refreshing to hear that.
whether it's Sanskrit, Latin, Arabic, they're all beautiful languages, but we have become so rushed off our feet with text, don't we?
Yeah, that's right.
And we're losing the
The most
beauty.
important thing, just I'd like to touch on,
Bolo.
is the use of the language. Hello?
We are hearing you.
The use of the language, and in the modern context, and it was really, really good to hear that Abed is saying that, it has to be taught in a context where people in this day and age can understand it and relate to it.
Wow.
Because obviously teaching it in a classical sense has its uses as well.
Yes.
But in order to communicate with people around us, it has to be in a simplified and everyday use form. And that's really, really refreshing. One question I'd like to ask Abed.
Abed is listening. Go on.
Yeah. In terms of, obviously, he's worked as a translator. I have as well. And I want to know if he shares the same experience that I have. But often when we look at translated texts, whether it's NHS leaflets or government information or whatever, that it's written in such a highfalutin way that it's like basically like somebody reading Shairi. It's like poetry. And I don't know.
A very good example.
And I'm sure from what I've heard from Abed that he obviously
Abed, what do you think?
understands the need to simplify things. I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who like this. I don't know if it's an elitist thing or what.
What else is it?
They like to use really, really clever words to show that they are masters of the language.
And you don't know.
On that before as well. It's like they like to verbalize in a circumlocutory fashion rather than say talk about in a roundabout way.
Roundabout way. I love your use of the word circumlocutory. You also can use big words, I can see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rather than saying verbalize in a circumlocutory fashion, why not say talk in a roundabout way?
Yeah.
So, a lot of Urdu translations that I've read, you need to have a PhD in Urdu to understand them. So how can the common man or woman understand them when they're reading them?
Yes.
And I'm sure, and I'd like to ask Abed, does that happen when he came across translations?
Okay, do you want Abed to say something? Abed, come near the mic.
Well?
Come near the mic.
Yeah, hi.
This is Iftikhar Khan, epiglottis.
How are you?
I was listening in the morning.
Hi, I'm fine.
You are right. Recently, I got a project from someone who want to translate material into Arabic, and exactly, it is like training material for business or something like this, and it's really in high, fashion in English. And now to translate it to Arabic, that's the issue. I told them, yes, you wanted to reach the people on that level only, or you want wide range of audience to understand it. So you have to decide. And then we try to apply, for example, translation. Maybe you studied that or you know that by yourself about the cognitive aspect of the language. That when you translate, you don't translate literally, you translate cognitively. So it matches the pattern of thinking for the receiver. How they perceive these things in their language, not, for example, in English or in Urdu or something like this. But yeah, I agree with you. Using these high fashion vocabularies in order to make it very difficult for people, this is something.
It's non-communication. Yes. Iftikhar, isn't that called non-communication?
It is. I agree. I completely agree with both of yourselves. I often come across a very simple English text, which is then translated into a very difficult sort of high-level language that you need to be a master of that language. And I often think it's a wasted exercise.
It's a wasted money, time, effort.
Doesn't. To be an effective communicator, you've got to ensure that people understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
It's all about understanding. If people understand what you are saying, you are the best communicator. Otherwise, even if you use Shakespearean language and people they don't understand you, then
what's the point?
It's nothing.
You have shown off how good you are.
And you're right about the literal meaning of the words as well.
Yes.
Because I once seen somebody get a Christmas card which says "Season's Greetings," right, and translated into a variety of different languages because it was being sent out to a lot of different people. And the Season's Greeting was translated in Urdu, and when you translated it back, it didn't make any sense.
No.
So if you took the Urdu and translated it back to English, it actually said, "Congratulations for the weather."
You're not talking to God, are you?
sometimes things get lost in translation.
Can I tell you another one I read? Somebody's head was cut off. Now in Urdu it says "ko kalam kar diya," hai na? And by God, Google translated into she was made into a pen. But by God, this is true.
Why not say cut off the head?
Yeah, but
why not say
that we'll understand. So why bother? The whole purpose of communicating like that is to show off, isn't it?
It's very pompous and elitist.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to go to a mushaira or a poetry recital session, that's fine. Yeah. Because people want to use
but
that
even
kind
then,
of language.
even then,
I've got no qualms about that.
No, but
that's fine, and it enhances people's learning. But in everyday use, you've got to simplify.
But we went to the Pakistani Cultural Society. You had mushaira at every level, the top level complicated Urdu, and you had Tara Singh simple Urdu. There is layers in that as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
and the topics
the purpose
also.
Of that medium is mushaira is also to help people build up their understanding of language.
Yes.
But in everyday use, it's a different thing.
No,
you need
exactly.
to be communicating more effectively.
Well, you wouldn't go to the shops and speak Shakespearean, would you?
Yeah, actually, an interesting thing that you mentioned, Doc, was about the different dialects and speaking Geordie and whatnot.
Aye.
I mean, I was born in Britain and I've lived here all my life, and I went to Scotland in 1989.
And you were a foreigner?
And I couldn't understand anything that people were saying. And that's also English. So when Abed mentioned that, people from Morocco and Syria and so forth, they may not understand each other's conversation, I totally relate to that, because I went to Dundee, and I actually went to, obviously the first day there I wasn't going to cook, so I went to a takeaway. And they don't call them takeaways there, they call them carry-outs.
Carry-outs, okay.
Yeah, or carry-out. 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 So I basically went, and there was a person being served in front of me, and he actually said, and if I can repeat the word, I've learnt it now, he says,
Pardon? I think there's distortion.
What? Give me a donut. Now, I didn't understand what he was saying, but the person behind the counter, obviously another person of Asian background, understood him perfectly, and he started smiling when it was my turn. And he said, "Are you new here?" And I said, "Yes." He says, "You'll learn slowly."
What did he mean?
But the thing is, sometimes even when people speak slowly, because the dialect is so pronounced, it's difficult, even if they speak slowly.
Yeah, but educated people, whether they're from New York or Delhi or Karachi or Lahore or Jordan, if they're highly educated, they have the sensitivity and the range of skills and the desire to communicate. But if you take some Lahori who can just about speak some English, put in with a New Yorker whose English is very American and kind of Italian kind of, there's no communication.
Well, actually, I'll tell you a fun example. I was working as a international mediator, negotiator, troubleshooter for Telnet International, and they
for United Nations
notice to Pakistan
for UN.
Sorry,
for the United Nations.
No. They sent me to this international telecoms company. They sent me to short notice of Pakistan to Lahore, where there was a French team from a company called Schlumberger who were teaching how to use a particular technology to staff from their unit in Pakistan. Now, the Pakistani staff was speaking English in a Pakistani accent.
Yeah, Pakistani Indian, same.
The French team was speaking English in a French accent, and they just could not communicate with each other.
Well,
so I had to go there and find a way of helping them modify
their Franco-Pakistani Lahori accent.
Yeah, and I had to act as a bridge between them, which was really it was strange, but it was fun. That both parties were really, really frustrated because they couldn't communicate. They were both speaking English.
Sort
English
of.
As a medium to communicate. But obviously there was a difficulty there. And sometimes it is difficult. The accent itself, even if you use simplistic words, the accent itself can present difficulty.
Yes, and like we say divorce here, Indian they say divorce. And the English one won't understand what is divorce, Well,
if I said to you in a French accent, quitte, what would that mean to you?
I think you're swearing at me.
No, it means quit.
Oh, quit. So, oh, my God.
So when the French say quit, they'll say quitte, because that's the way they pronounce it.
Yes.
And the thing is, that was a prime example of where they were doing a flow diagram on a training session, and the person was kept saying that at a certain point you have to quit, right? And he kept saying quit, and the Pakistani people were getting frustrated, say, what is this, guys? They say to me, Iftikhar bhai, ye kya bol raha hai? Samajh mein nahi aa raha.
Kit kya kiye hue kit?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, one of them thought, oh, maybe it's this thing, this chocolate bar called Kit Kat.
Okay. Thank you for the break.
Okay, it was nice.
Thank you for the break.
Guys.
Lovely to hear from you. As usual, you put a lot in. Thank you. That's my friend Iftikhar Khan. And a lot of very valid points.
Exactly.
He has actually summarized everything you've said in a précis format.
Yep.
And he's very good with languages. More than that, he's very good with voices. He can copy he can sing the same Hindi song with different actors' voices. So he's very much interested in language, vocalization, singing. He knows the words of most songs, and so on. So you'll get to know him. I'll introduce you to him. Good guy. So and he'll tell 10 people about what you're doing. I mean, he's a good soul, and he's helped people. If your boiler breaks down, he'll go. He won't charge you a penny. He just go and try to fix it. There are people like that around, you know.
Yeah.
So it's good to know the local community, which I've been around. See, I've been a doctor in Gosford. I had nothing to do with the West End. But I worked with people, doctors in particular, who came from abroad in the refugee center. And then I've also done a lot of West End with one doctor falling ill. And I fell in love with the West End because there's more to do.
Yeah.
In Gosford, it's okay. Everyone comes on time. Everyone has their smears done. Everyone has their blood pressures done. I have people who do a flow chart of their blood pressures in Excel. Now, that's one kind of life. And then the other guy is hard to get, won't reach, will swear at you, will never come on time. But it challenges you, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like people go to challenging schools. They don't say I went to a bad school.
Yeah.
They say challenging. Now, it's a way of looking at things, isn't it? I mean, teaching Arabic to Arabs in a posh place where everyone sits quietly, pays total attention. That's easy. You want the locals here who are distracted with mobile phones going off, WAP coming on. Yeah. But you had very mature students, I would take it yesterday. They are keen and they're paying money.
I believe that people
and they have a
come
desire.
to the class, they have the desire. That's the point.
Yes.
That's
so,
why I asked you from the beginning that you already made a commitment between you and yourself.
Yeah, exactly. What a beautiful statement. Yes.
You have decided. You had the choice to choose this or not.
And you chose this.
And you have to.
And I'll do my best to make your choice worthwhile.
I respect your choice. And you will see that you will not regret for this choice.
Yes. But then there's two committed people, like any business or any relationship. If you and I want to make this show good, and both of us want it, it'll come out perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I say, oh, heck, what have I got to do with Arabic? I'm not even a Muslim. If I was in the BBC and somebody gave me you to do, and I had no interest in the subject, it would be a different conversation.
You know, I always say to my friend, I mean, if you feel after 2 hours of teaching like that you were climbing a mountain,
then don't do it. I've been in general practice from 83. I became a partner till 2011-ish. I never regretted one day. Friday night, I was as fresh as Monday morning. I never I must have once or twice said, oh, bloody Mrs. So-and-so. I said, what's new today? Come on. Because Euripides says you cannot dip your toe in the same river twice. Means you're a different Abed today from the one I'll see on Monday, from the one I'll film on Tuesday.
Exactly.
Because, you're meeting different people and you're ever evolving.
People, they think that this is a kind of hypocrisy and changing the face. But
no, but we are changing. I'm a different. Having met you, I'm different. My attitude to Arabic and Quran has changed completely.
To be respondent to the situation that you are in. You respond to the situation.
But that's because you're intelligent.
Because that's a kind of intelligence. That's
social intelligence. Yes. Emotional intelligence.
To that occasion in particular, because you will not act the same when you are at home or you are teaching or you are in studio or you are working or whatever.
But as a person, you're growing, isn't it? Everyone you're teaching is an individual relationship. Every person there that was. What's it called? Harun, isn't it? The accountant. I was so happy to see him.
Yeah, Asad. Yeah.
Asad Harun.
Yeah.
That sounds like your country's president, isn't it?
No, that's the Syrian. The Syrian.
That's Syrian. Sorry, that's not. Yes. It's next to you.
Okay. Unfortunately.
Yes. Unfortunately, Jordan is quite peaceful, isn't it?
I hope it.
Nothing much is happening. Like Syria is not peaceful at the moment. Okay, I'm glad we have a different Assad.
The whole region.
Yes, it's quite hot.
It's all hot. I mean,
yes.
we hope
Do you think the new technology has in fact helped in some way create more instability, because if people are not ready to take responsibility and you give them satellite phones and Twitter and this and that, then they can use it to hurt each other.
Oh, definitely.
Isn't it? Like Britain has had democracy for 400 years. Any new law, and people don't get excited and they don't start killing each other. They say, okay, we'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? People got used to that freedom. You know, in Punjab, the bodyguard had killed the governor in Punjab in Pakistan because he was trying to be kinder to the Christians by repealing or reducing the blasphemy laws. Now, in the Speakers Club, you're not allowed to speak on politics, sex, or religion. And I do everything. So I said, the topic I was giving out to people, I said, look, in Punjab, this has happened. Isn't Britain the other extreme? And 3 people gave such powerful, passionate speeches. These are only 3-minute speeches or 2 minutes.
Oh.
And these are, you must come to the Speakers Club. If you're free, I'd love to take you there. This is on Wednesday coming. I'm chairing the meeting.
What
So,
time?
this is 8 o'clock start, 7:30 to be present. I'll take you
Evening.
In the evening.
Oh, not be here.
Okay, if you're not here, well, someday. So the Speakers Club is a good place to go. They're all good speakers. They love languages. They'd love to see you there.
My program is full. Like Sunday, for example.
But there's another Speakers Club in town through Wheelchair Steve. I'll link you with him.
Yeah, we can arrange.
And it might be people who want to learn, but not just for that, for you to
Yes.
see other people and people very good in their speaking skills,
Yeah.
who enjoy the art of communication. So it's fun. The other thing having been in the Speakers Club, found very odd. I went to the National Speakers thing. I had won some award, so I went there. I didn't win, but I was videoing the best speakers. 3 of them almost refused. I said, excuse me, you're public speakers, and I'm only going to put you on YouTube, and you're not pretty little girls of 16. You're grown-up men of 32, like 15 stones in weight. I insulted them, and they agreed. So people have all these funny layers. If you're a public speaking club and you're the best 8 in the land for the Association of Speakers, and there are 250 people in front of you, why are you so shy in being videoed and being put on YouTube?
No.
So, people have a lot of hang-ups, I said, you want to communicate, but you don't want to communicate. You know what I mean?
From behind.
Yes, I'll communicate, but from behind. Yeah. Okay. What keeps you ticking? What makes you so lively and inspired and happy and wanting to do more and sharing and caring and not impressed, as Iftikhar was saying, with big words? Though you speak proper Arabic, you're not there to impress people. That's just to keep your speaking skills at the level you need to.
No, because this is the language I teach people. So I have to respect that while I'm teaching you, I'm actually practicing it myself. I don't want to teach you something that I don't
And
do
I don't
myself.
practice, so it becomes fake.
Yeah, it's fake. It's fake. I'm teaching you to do something that I don't do it myself.
So I'm selling Apple but carry a PC around. It's a bit
that
fake.
doesn't make sense at all.
Right.
So
in your family, what are people in this language skills? Are they as interested? Are they completely different people? Your brothers, sisters, parents, friends, cousins?
no, they are all interested in language, and maybe from educated family. All my brothers, they are all PhD holders or doctors or masters or different from
fields.
medicine to law to everything. So history, politics, everything. So they all, have the passion to the language. They all.
But the language passion is common amongst all of you.
Exactly, yeah.
So when you meet your brother, do you speak in good Arabic, bad Arabic, local Arabic,
To be
poor
honest,
Arabic?
sometimes we speak
In English?
No. In the standard Arabic, just it comes like just flowing.
So standard Arabic is not Al Jazeera Arabic.
No, standard Arabic that's used in Al Jazeera Arabic. The standard Arabic is the language that's used in Al Jazeera.
Okay. So that is standard Arabic.
Yeah, that's the
So what is the other Arabic called, the original one?
This one, we call it modern standard Arabic. Actually, we call it modern standard Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the language of today in media and education. But that
I see. Education also uses the same.
Yeah, exactly.
So
teaching universities, for example, or schools.
So that is the kind of Arabic you speak.
That's the kind of Arabic that you teach.
Okay.
You teach the standard Arabic. You don't teach dialects at all.
So dialects is something else.
That is spoken only, but it's not written.
Yes, like Geordie.
Exactly.
But some people write Geordie.
They're right. And some people, they write also dialect. Egyptian, they must write. Syrian, they must write.
They feel very comfortable in not being good in that language. But what about the old Arabic? What about the Quranic
You
Arabic?
talk about the classical Arabic, which
That's
is
called
about
classical.
Classical Arabic. That goes about 16 to 1700 years now, which is something before even Islam, before Quran.
Oh,
We have now text before Islam, before
How
Quran.
many years before would you say?
You are talking about 200 years maybe, or something like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that language still goes on.
Still,
Because
and
Islam
people,
is
they can
13.
read it.
Islam is 1400
1400
years old.
1400
And that is 1600 years
yeah.
old.
So you're talking about at least 200 or 150 years. You have Arabic
How much
text.
of that do you understand?
You have to put
The
effort.
classical Arabic.
You have to put effort with it. You have to put.
But you understand it all.
Yeah, for sure.
But you can't
read
speak it all.
You can speak it if you train yourself on that.
Okay.
It's all about using the high standard of vocabularies and to
So
put
the
it,
words
to
they
put it in a
use.
certain structure. If you
Okay.
learn that, you can do it like a poet. The poet they can put it in a certain way.
So for the same word, would you have more words in classical Arabic?
Yeah, that's the issue. For example,
So it's simplified now. Would you say that?
yeah, it's simplified. I mean, people now they look, for example, for certain words in Quran, for example, because it's an example of classical Arabic. Okay, so they say, okay, this word means what?
Yeah, give an example. I won't understand, but my Arabic trained Muslim people would understand.
Yeah, I mean, if
Use a word.
the different meanings, that's something obvious. For example, in classical Arabic, that depends on the context. We say to people, for example, that the Quran is a contextual text, so you can't understand.
Stop. It's a wonderful thing you're saying.
Yeah.
Quran is contextual. Don't take it literally.
No, it's contextual. It means you have to read within the context.
Within the context of-
Within the context that I'm talking about now here about the linguistic context.
Linguistic, not the cultural context of 1400 years ago.
Not the culture at all. Not, you are not talking
So in
about
the
culture,
linguistic
because
sense.
The linguistic sense, if you are talking about the language itself. Now, yes, you'll find certain words, one word, the same word, it's used in different verses, for example,
With different
but it has
connotation.
different connotations. Different
You
connotations.
give an example.
For example, maybe the word like daraba, which is to mean hit.
Daraba.
Daraba, which hit.
Hatred.
Hit, to hit someone.
To hit somebody, beat someone.
To beat someone. That's the standard meaning of the word.
Or
even
daraba
now,
is to hit someone.
to hit someone. But in Quran, no, you find different meaning for that. The least of them is to hit.
So the lowest form of
The
daraba
lowest
is
of
hitting
request
someone.
is to hit, but the other meanings are to travel, for example, to give an example, to set an example. So how can you get that meaning if you don't look to the
And
context?
if you try to understand the word hit in English, it can never mean travel and it can never mean that because it's a different context.
No, different. I mean, the same word in Arabic, you will give different translation in it for in English. So hit, the same word daraba, I will translate it in English to hit or beat, to travel, to set forth or give an example, for example.
And you'll say, how can the same word have
How
three
can the
different
same
meanings?
word- Yes, that's the context that plays the major role.
Well, in Hindi, you got a word called kal. And kal means yesterday and kal means tomorrow.
And then you are lost on the time.
And unless you understand the context, you say, excuse me. Okay, do you have male, female verbs?
Yeah, definitely, because Arabic is a language that has everything, either male or female, everything. The gender is there.
The feminine aspect and the
Feminine
masculine
and
aspect.
masculine aspect, everything.
But the same in Sanskrit and Hindi.
Yeah, and in French.
And French have it.
German even more, because they have a neutral.
Yes.
German, they have male, female, or masculine, feminine, and the neutral. There are things in neutral, neither this nor that.
But in Hindi, the mouse would have a gender.
Yeah.
And the mustache would have a gender.
Yeah, Arabic, the table has a gender, the kursi has, and they are different
Kursi.
genders.
Oh, kursi, even I
Kursi is
understand
the
kursi.
chair, yes.
Okay.
So the chair in Arabic is masculine, while the table is feminine.
Wow.
You see?
By the action you're creating, I can see this to be true.
So that you find always the chair with the
Exactly. Oh, you're being videoed, so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just run a break.
Yeah.
Spice FM, to entertain, educate and enlighten. Text us on 80039 or email us at studio@spicefm.co.uk.
You're listening to Dr. Anand with Abed, Hi, Abed. We've got 15
Yes.
minutes more, and I want to tell you, I want to tell the listeners rather through you about what you're doing in the Beacon building. You're a tenant here with 2 rooms.
Yep. It's mainly it's a new academy. It's the first
NEALA, Northeast
Niala. Yeah,
Arabic-
Niala, Northeast Arabic Language Academy.
Arabic Language
It's,
Academy.
It's the first of its kind in the Northeast.
The word Neela means blue in Hindi.
Niala, it means championship.
Means what?
Championship.
Champion.
Yeah, championship.
So you found an acronym.
Just like this.
Niala.
I didn't. I mean,
Yeah, well, you found a perfect word.
it comes.
Yes, it comes naturally to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Niala, the champions, you're championing the cause of Arabic language.
Exactly.
So tell me about the setup.
Our focus is how to bring Arabic to be at the hand of people
in the Northeast.
in the Northeast for any purpose that they want.
They don't have to be Muslims.
No, it's
They don't have to
not
study
at all.
Quran.
Many of the people they come now and they communicate. They have nothing to do with this because they have the passion to the language as a language.
Why are they doing business in?
Some people from business background. Some people just they are interested in new language.
Okay.
Some people they try to.
They're fascinated by this ancient language.
Some people they study something about Arabic and then they found the grammar of Arabic. The grammar system is fascinating.
Okay.
It's very logical.
So just the curiosity and the
Exactly.
logicality, whereas English grammar is certainly not.
Exactly. I mean, many people they told me. I mean, the language I love it because it's highly logical.
Yeah.
Everything,
it flows.
It is like mathematics.
Yes,
when-
you
when-
don't have to
when you study.
memorize.
Exactly.
You learn the system.
And so people they study for different purposes. So that in our courses we try to offer whatever you want.
To
We give you-
suit the
to suit
syllabus will
what
suit
you
the
want.
student.
Exactly. It suits you and your needs. You want to learn Arabic as a language for 4 skills to be able in reading, writing, listening, and everything. It's okay. You have the courses for that. You want to teach your young kids, whether for any purpose, you want to teach them as a second language for their own future. To have a second
A
language.
sense
within-
of another second
it-
language.
it
To
could-
become bilingual.
It could be native like within less than 2 years. If you are between 10 to 15 years.
So are you saying that young people pick up faster?
Definitely.
Is it
And
because
we
their
try-
brains are more absorbing, or they have not been blinded by other things? Why do you think you're a teacher? Why do children learn faster?
We have in linguistics what we call the critical theory, which is talking about the critical period for the acquisition of any language. But the younger, the best.
I
That's
also
the
heard
idea.
that if you don't hear a sound till the age of 18 months, it's very hard then getting it in. Like Chinese people find r very difficult. They say l,
Yeah.
clearly, elections, and so on. So is that true? Is that your experience too?
People who want to learn the language is there for any purpose. You have the passion to the language for whatever your need is. We try to customize it for you.
Okay.
We put
So
it-
when you say we, you got a whole office upstairs, and your institution, I was looking on the internet, has a lot of members in it. Who are the other people with you?
Yeah, I have teachers. We have also like advisory board. We refer to them to give us advice about certain things, to give a training programs for our staff.
So other skills have been brought in.
Yeah. For just about a month ago, one of our advisory board came here to give a training course for 2 days, full days in the weekend, about, for example, teaching GCSE Arabic and A-level Arabic.
Oh, I see. Right.
In
right.
specific, how to teach these, because we also provide this for anyone who wants to get this certificate. But we only apply, for example, the Edexcel scheme of work.
Does the Excelsior Academy know about you?
Who?
Exactly. There's a fantastic teaching organization called Excelsior
Excel.
in Denton. I'll introduce you to them.
Yeah.
Because I remember because you were asking for Urdu supervisor, and I'm sure that exactly the same will happen with Arabic.
Maybe.
And they're very multicultural, very open-hearted, very non-racial, very very good academy. It's
Yeah,
just
we
down the
try
road.
to communicate with
I
all
will
actually,
I'll link
and
you with
we
them.
give. I mean,
I'll link you with them.
our ambition is more than this. I mean, we want also to bring Arabic into the research field, to be
Researched.
researched.
So people research the
Especially
Arabic.
yeah, especially from translation or linguistic field. so that we try to have communication with linguistic department here at universities. So
you're making the Arabic better quality Arabic as against what Iftikhar was saying, just using big words, and it's worse than the English version.
No.
So the translation is so difficult, nobody understands, hasn't a clue.
We try to provide the Arabic that people they can use, they can understand, and it's up to you. You want to increase your knowledge of the language, it is open.
We are here.
That's it. So take what you want. Exactly. We give you what you ask for, whether you are adults or for the young.
So it's like a tailor-made.
Tailor. It's all tailored. We try to use the best curriculums available in the market. Besides that, our teachers, they develop also their own material. Everything.
And you encourage that.
Yeah, for sure.
So the teachers taking responsibility for their teaching.
They must. It's a must. I mean, you have to add your own. I mean, you just not using a certain textbook and just put it to the student. No, it's the way you structure it, how you support it with other material. There's no one.
So you have to throw yourself into it as well.
Definitely,
you're part of that book.
Definitely, but we try to bring something that's really attractive, accessible, and people they can use it at any time. Especially when you come to the young, you have to use a certain textbook that's really attractive, because Arabic, most of the books that are used, for example, for the young, it's just very dry books,
boring,
just full
written by oldies,
full of text only.
No fun,
no images,
no pictures,
no any new media about it, nothing
no
about
YouTube.
the new technologies, not at all. But this is what we try to avoid.
In any way, if you want any filming, I'm here.
Yeah,
because I really enjoyed yesterday, and on Tuesday we are going off to the Millennium Bridge to show Newcastle context, then the Beacon, then your office. And I, like you, I'm very excited about teaching, particularly to children, because children are there to absorb what you have to give.
They will. I mean, our ambition in our programs, we are so keen that, for example, a student who come to start with us in less than 2 years, you are almost native-like in Arabic.
And a better perspective because you come from outside, so you have that aspect as well, and you know the language as good as any native. So it's all about passion, isn't it? Passion and adaptability. That's what Caller Iftikhar was emphasizing, that you have to have the drive, and the encouragement,
and something that's inside you. I mean, some people they come with passion, but I try to push as much as I can to motivate them, to give them. Show
because
them that
you're
there's
excited.
Something.
You are excited about what you do, and you want them to be.
Yeah, but I can't. I mean, maintain that forever, because it should come from inside the student themselves. So yes, that's.
So how do people get in touch with Neela?
They get in touch by visiting us in our office in the Beacon.
How do you do that? Come to the desk and ask for Abed or Neela, Neala.
Neala,
Arabic Language Academy.
Yeah, Arabic Academy. They can call us also.
What's your phone number up there?
They can visit our website, which is neala.co.uk.
neala.co.uk. Neala.co.uk.
Our Facebook also, our Twitter is there. They can reach us from the Beacon. I mean,
what's your phone number in your office upstairs? 0191?
0191. I don't have it.
I might have it.
You have it. You might have it. Yeah, definitely.
Your mobile I won't give out, but I will definitely look up your. So neala.co.uk is what you're looking for. And if I type Abed here, it should all come up. A-B-E. 242-5405. 242-5405. You want your email given out? Your email?
The email is info@neala.co.uk, and for any information, people
info, of course. So basically, it's neala.co.uk, neala.co.uk, and the phone number is 242-5405. Obviously, with a 0191. Anything else you want to tell us?
Yeah, actually, we have lots of projects we are doing, and one of them.
So tell us about this grand other project you're doing about arts.
Yeah, we are doing our first calligraphy week to bring Arabic calligraphy.
What date do you start your calligraphy?
About the classic Arabic. It will be a gallery that will be open from 9th of November until 13th of November.
So 5 days.
5 days. The opening will be on 11:30 on 9th of November. We will have like small reception for that, and it will be open for the public all these days.
Keep plugging it and ask yourself or one of your staff to keep texting me.
Yeah.
My shows are Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'd love to just encourage what you're doing because it's such an exciting project.
It is.
And you're one of those tenants with a bit life in you.
So we will have our gallery in Skylight 3.
So this gallery is mainly calligraphy.
Calligraphy, Arabic classic calligraphy. It's very from the person who is teaching now in SOAS University, London. He's teaching calligraphy there.
So what's the SOAS full form in York? Isn't it?
His name is Mustafa Hassan, and he is.
And SOAS is what?
SOAS is School of Oriental and African Studies.
SOAS, yes.
SOAS. Yeah.
It's also a muscle in the thigh.
Yeah.
P-S-O-A-S. SOAS, yes.
So
through my Indian classical music, I've had contact with them.
Exactly. So
have you been to the Oriental Museum in Durham?
Oriental, yeah.
Because that also would encourage your work?
Yeah, they have lots of things. I mean, it can be, but this one is just focusing on this type of art. It's very old art in Arabic.
So where are you getting it from?
People, it's from London coming. The calligrapher is coming from London.
But the art is ready-made?
It's made, yeah.
And framed and everything?
And framed, everything.
And about 7 kilos in weight?
One of them is 20 kilos.
Oh my God! You need a lot of those strips.
Yeah. Between 4 to 7 kilos. I mean,
yes, I saw the advert today on television. How it you can peel it off and so on.
Exactly.
And I was thinking about you this morning.
Yeah. So the gallery will be open for public from 11 until 8 p.m. from Sunday to Thursday. So we give time after the work for people who want to come after 5, and during the day it's open. Besides that,
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll announce it again that there's a gallery running upstairs.
Yes.
And I'll come and film some of it as well.
Exactly. I mean, and there will be also workshops for people who have passion to learn calligraphy, how to write calligraphy.
What about people like me whose English writing is terrible?
It has nothing to do with knowing Arabic at all.
Oh no, my writing is terrible. I'm a doctor,
calligrapher will teach you. The calligrapher will teach you, and then you will be
you're a good doctor with clear writing. Yeah.
So we will focus on 3 styles of Arabic calligraphy. It will be called 3 different styles, and we have different, but these are the major 3. It's Nasikh, Thuluth, and Diwani.
I asked you yesterday. Nasikh, Thuluth, and Diwani.
Diwani, yes. And these workshops, the Nasikh will be on Sunday, next Sunday, not this one, which is the 9th. It will be from 1 until 5:30. It's together. And the other 2 sessions will be Thuluth workshops that will be Monday and Tuesday. And you can choose either in the morning to come or to come in the evening. So we have one from 11 to 1, or you can come from 7:30 to 9 to 7:30, from 5:30 to 7:30 in the evening.
On
Monday and Tuesday. And the other workshop is for Diwani style workshop.
Wednesday.
That will be Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay.
Also, it will be from 11 to 1 or from 5:30 to 7:30 in the evening.
Okay.
So people, they have
I'd love to carry on, except you have somewhere to go.
Yes.
So I'll let you go. It's been fabulous having you here. I
Thank
hope
you
we
so
can
much.
encourage you more and more and more.
Thank
You're
you
doing
so
something
much.
wonderful. You'll excite a lot of people. And I'm glad you're at the Beacon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
You.
Bye-bye.
Good luck. Thank you.
Statistics that we mentioned, 6,236. We put them like what? These are the verses. The ayat, 78 or 80,000, whatever the number is. It's like the car. Bring them all these words. Study them. These are not original words. How many would be the original word?
30,000?
30,000. What do you think?
I'm saying hundreds.
100?
No, a couple of hundred.
Couple of hundred.
50,000.
50. Asad, what do you think?
I would think original words.
Without what we call repetition. If you want to say.
Now in the studio, we have the real person. What you were listening to was a class that he did yesterday. This is Abed Al-Zwari. Is that correct?
Al-Zweiri.
Al-Zaweri. Al-Zaweri. Don't confuse it with a television studio. Al. The word al means the, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the definite article in Arabic.
The definite article.
Yeah.
God, you talk so much proper grammar. I
It is-
even know what you're talking about.
it
So really, what you have set up completely and beautifully is a scheme where people learn Arabic. You're not teaching the Quran. You're teaching Arabic, isn't it?
Yes.
But there are associations. Like yesterday when you were teaching, you said 180 words are repeated in 50% of the Quran. So if you learned 180 words, you know half the words in the Quran, which is, I think, a magic thing you said. I was so impressed with that.
You know, I mean, now lots of approaches now in teaching languages that are used. One of them is the corpus linguistics.
Corpus linguistics.
Corpus linguistics. I mean, it takes that, you take a text, whatever text it is, and then you make complete analysis for it, and then you make separation for.
So it's like a linguistic analysis.
It is linguistic analysis, completely linguistic. And then you divide that text into main categories of the language, the part of speech that we call, whether they are nouns, adjective, adverbs, pronouns, and everything. And then you divide them, classify them, have statistics about them, everything. And then you get...
So you totally analyze it to the last atom.
To the last atom.
And that helps you understand, and that helps you teach as well.
Exactly. It is one of the methods now is used in teaching all languages.
All languages.
All languages.
So do you think finally they've understood how to teach language? Because at one time it was just by doing, you go to Calcutta, you talk, SMS has lost it completely. It's just tuck, 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 tuck. The beauty and the, isn't it?
It is definitely. I mean, you know, I mean, every language, it has its own style in conversation, in conveying the message, how you convey it, what type of vocabulary that you use.
What are the feelings behind it?
And the feelings.
How much time do you have? Because English is a kind of language. It's typed in one layer. Urdu has and Hindi have a layer above and a layer. The vowels are in top and bottom. Arabic, I believe, has 5 layers.
Approximately, yeah.
Yes. So Arabic has 5. Urdu has, Hindi have 3. English has 1. Because on the ticker tape on the computer, it's easy to run it like that. Would you agree with that? It's become so common and commercialized. We lost the nuances, the softness of language, the delicacy of good wishes. You know, we just type LOL and laugh out loud comes on, and so on.
No, this is a new language, actually, what you are saying.
It is.
It's an invented language.
It's an invented virtual language, which is international, but doesn't say very much, you know.
Yeah. So then, now they are talking about the new Englishy.
Englishy.
So it's a new English now. You have now.
Well, in India we speak English, and he speaks Pinglish, being from Punjab. But he's a Geordie, so he speaks Geordie, you know. Why do we need language? Tell us generally about these things. Then we'll talk about specifics. What is language?
Now you have lots of definitions. I mean, it's a puzzle that now no one, I believe, could come with a solution for it. What is language? People, they define it like it's a way of communication.
Okay.
It's okay, way of communication.
We are talking in English, a common English that we are talking of. Both of us are educated people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be difficult if you had purely Arabic on you,
yeah,
or a very poor quality English. By poor quality, I mean with very heavy accent. And if I also spoke like Delhi and didn't talk to you like that, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
So, but English has become the lingua franca, to use a stupid phrase, because lingua franca means French language.
It's a linguistic, term, actually, lingua franca. It's the language that can be used, they can make code switching.
Okay. Isn't language something humans have much more of? Animals have language too. Whales, baboons, ants, they communicate differently though.
There's one feature of the language that does not exist but only in a human.
Okay.
Which is the capacity of, or the ability of what we call naming.
Go on. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the street, you make mistakes, you learn bad words, and then one day you learn a bit, and then you learn a very selected aspect, isn't it?
If you are talking about the formal context, that's different. If you are talking about natural people, they can acquire the language naturally.
Say you're from Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose I had a job in Jordan. Very quickly, I would have to learn words for breathlessness, cough, sneeze. But that's not normal language. That's a doctor kind of basket of language vocabulary, isn't it?
It is. Now in all languages, we have like small categorization for courses. So I have, for example, here we have Arabic for business purposes. We have Arabic for politics.
So you focus more on the businessy words.
Exactly.
Like profit, loss.
Not only words, it's also the occasions, the conversation that can be held in that context. It's very specific.
Okay, so you're not just teaching words, but if you and I were two businessmen and you're from Arabia, which you are, from Jordan, and I'm from India, then it's not just the words. I don't need to just say, like, what's profit in Arabic?
No.
Munafa?
What's that?
What's profit?
Prophet Nabi.
No, not prophet. Profit.
Oh, profit.
Money making.
The
what's the Arabic word for making a profit?
Rabh.
Rabh. Whereas in Urdu it's munafa, which probably then comes from Farsi.
Yeah.
Because my language, Hindi, the Hindus call it Hindi and the Muslims call it Urdu. It's the same language called Hindustani. So it came out of Delhi, where the troops collect, the troops are from all over India. So just like English, it's a rag bag of all sorts of words from all sorts of languages.
The example you mentioned about the business, actually, we are not teaching only the language. For example, for business, we are teaching also culture. We make like culture awareness.
So when you say something, you don't, like for instance, a very small example, my father's gone, but my mother is looked after by Asian women, right? Now, whether they're from Pakistan or India, they call her Auntie G. So that's the part, auntie meaning aunt. And G is a sign of respect. She goes into hospital, which she has. My mother went to hospital last night. And everyone calls her Sushila with her first name. She's 87. Now, in our Eastern cultures, where there's Jordan, I mean, if I met your mother, I wouldn't dare call her by the first name. I couldn't imagine calling even your sister or younger person of the female of the opposite gender. I would add a G as a sign of respect. So perhaps in Arabic you have those cultural layers which English, having become so commercial and international and texted and
the interpretation of the receiver will be totally different.
Yes,
with each one of them.
And doesn't the receiver also have already a preconceived notion of who this person is going to be? Now that I know you, I've physically met you, I've smiled at you, I've interviewed you slightly, I'm interviewing you, I'm less likely to get upset with you if you say something which is truthful but could be interpreted as, no, he means well. But if I don't know you and from Jordan you send me a text, it could be very negative or positive, isn't it? Misinterpreted.
That's part in linguistics that's called pragmatics.
Pragmatics
is talking about the context of the sender and the context of the receiver.
Right.
And then your interpretation of what I say, that depends if we are sharing the same context or not. If we share the same context, if we share, yes, your interpretation will be, to some extent, theoretically, it should be exactly like what I intended to say.
So if you talk to your twin, who you've grown up with, gone to the same school, same parents, twin or brother or friend from Jordan, and has it taken you time in Britain? You've been in Britain for how many years
now? 9 years.
9 years. It's taken you time and me time to understand the context. Because I still don't say sorry, almost not, because I think it's fake. Because most people say sorry as a habit. It's just a habit. It has no meaning. It has no feeling. So when I say sorry, I really am on my bended knees saying I'm sorry, I goofed up. I didn't intend to, but I have hurt you. I acknowledge that. I don't want any explanation. If you want an explanation, I'll give it and I'll never do it again. To me, that is sorry. Not, he is sorry the doctor's not here. Well, why are you sorry if the doctor's not here? So in English...
It's part now what we call them filling terms.
What terms?
Filling.
Filling. It's like polyfiller.
Yeah. You fill the communication
message. In the Muslim community, inshallah. Many people don't use it in the genuine sense of God is the ultimate decider.
Yeah.
And we know that without God, it wouldn't happen. But you say, inshallah, meaning I say, will you come to the party? Inshallah. Well, you have to get ready. God doesn't have to get ready.
Someone sent me a message about this and said, look, I mean, Muslims, they used to say, inshallah, inshallah, inshallah. Do you really mean by that they don't want to do that thing?
Yes, and leave it. My very good friend Sayyed had a car accident. And I said, weren't you careful? Oh, it was God's will. I said, he wasn't driving, you know. You were, you were driving. So, you know, or it's like swearing, like was a tennis player, the American tennis player. He says, Jesus. He's not thinking in a kind of a sacred way or anything. He's swearing.
So that the language has to give titles, signs for objects. That's only a human feature.
Can possibly have that quality. Yeah.
But not for animals. Not maybe the animals they have that type of communication. In the bees they have also.
So they communicate by spinning around and
they communicate.
Yes,
they communicate. But by the meaning of the language that we know for a human being, no, it doesn't exist in any way.
So the vocalization is what's special, or just making a sound with the mouth instead of or the baby saying mama mama mama. But cows bleat. I mean, calves bleat. Monkeys go and they have different kind of cries. I'm not talking about body language of the elephant.
No, it's not about the gestures. You are talking about vocalization.
Vocalization, yes.
Yeah, vocalization. I mean, it's also something specific for a human. I mean, to produce these different sounds in different languages. Where can you find something like this in animals? Although you might share maybe 1 or 2, 3 sounds with animals, that does not mean they have that.
No, but equally it doesn't mean that they don't communicate. After all, if
communication is something different. They communicate.
So language is an aspect of communication.
Yeah, because people they can't.
But if I shoot you with a gun, that's also communication. But it's not language.
That's communication.
But that's bad communication. But it is. Yeah. Commune means 2 units have something going on between them.
Sign. Gestures is a communication.
So a road sign, a traffic light is communication, but it's not language.
It communicate for you, but it's not language.
So in that sense, I think texting is not language. There's no emotion in it. It's just factual. I mean, if you say, see you 6 p.m. at the stage, that's what text is okay for. But feelings completely go wrong, you know. I've had so many fights. I mean, I used to be on Twitter. I had so much hate mail from Pakistanis who thought I was an ultra-Hindu fellow. And when I sent them videos of Sanam and me playing the flute together at the Pakistani High Commissioners, they say, is that possible? Because, you know, you see a very small aspect of someone when you text, isn't it? Would you agree with me?
Exactly.
It's a very, very narrow beam, isn't it?
You just limit your idea, you limit what you are going to say. I mean, if you word and you just put them. But I mean, when you talk about language, whether calling by phone, for example, or meeting face to face,
the phone is far better than text.
Yeah,
and I think email is better than text.
Even the tone of the voice that comes part of the language, because it also conveys something about your meaning.
How are you, Abed? How are you, Abed?
Yeah.
Oh, how are you, Abed? They're different communication. The last one is I'm sick and tired of you, or I'm depressed. And the first one is wow.